is. So, hey, it's Fish. This is Ian, and we're going to talk about learning and coaching in social media and how Ian just messes around in his office all day and doesn't work at all. Right, Ian? Something like that?
I mean, that's basically the way I've found success.
Just basically tinkering around online and hoping that people would find your office?
Exactly. Yes. No targeting and no business plan at all.
Well, Ian, I brought you on and I recorded this because I've got a good sized network of loan officers that have been following us and, trying to learn and grow, and you've been part of it. I watched kind of what you've been doing with lead generation and with hiring and building. And it seems like you've taken, pretty much all the local bank loan officers in your market and pulled them into your office. I mean, is that accurate? They all work for you now.
Yeah, it's, I kind of, I always joke, I don't recruit at all. I recruit nobody. I find the people that I want that I know are already rock stars, and I find a way to build, a platform around them so that they want to come work for us. And we started in August of last year, just me, and then, grew to 1, 2, now we're up to 7, and we're slowly but surely growing and taking off. So it's been really pretty fun ride so far.
I dig it because I'm looking at you thinking you and I haven't talked much. I don't even know how old you are, but you remind me of this little millennial wizard that's going to take all these older loan officers' jobs.
Yeah, I'm 34, and the only reason why I know how old I am is because my wife reminds me. She's like, "You're exactly 30 years older than our son." So when he's 4, I know I'm 34. But
nice.
Yeah, it's
nice. But I mean, you've taken a market where tech wasn't really that big of a thing, like in Northern Michigan, and you said, "Well, we're gonna do a little bit more techie, and we're gonna set up a good process for the LOs, and then we're gonna let you guys kind of roll with it." And you got some LOs that came in that were doing just a few purchases, and now you're doubling or tripling their production. It's awesome, dude. I like what you've been doing.
And kind of the way that we've set it up is I openly say I love technology. I am not the guy that's going to go out and, buy donuts and shake hands and, kiss people's butts to get business. That's just not how I am. I'm very here it is, A, B, C, and most realtors like to have their ego stroked, and that's just not me. So, the kind of the model or the platform that I've set up across my team has just been you guys deal with the realtors, I'll deal with the back end, and we're going to drive as much business through any door that opens as we can. And it's really worked out well. What we're finding is that the very big producing realtors want to work with my team now because we're doing so much more on the back end. The loan officers that are on our team love it because they don't have to worry about, how am I going to find 2 hours to invest in, setting up an email drip campaign that's co-marketed with an agent or whatever. They know that I've got that so that they can actually go out and build or continue building those relationships. So it's really just been a lot of trial and error, but mostly learning from the group and the coaching that we've done. The thing that's interesting for me is that I had the ability to do none of this. I was at Chase for 14 years and Wells for 2, and there is no self-marketing, self-branding and when you're at a big company. So, I started less than a year ago with Caliber, just, how do I figure this out? How do I do it? And that's where, the coaching has come in huge, implementing our own CRM across the team, automating things. All of that's just stuff that I've never been able to do or never had the freedom to. And now it's a whole new world in front of us. And it's been just, your help especially has been great.
I dig it, man. Yeah. Some of the stuff that we worked on, you've been one of the best students in the programs TJ and I have been doing. I mean, you've jumped in and figured out how to move data from one place to the other and how to get those email campaigns going and how to keep, emails going once clients are in process and how to generate a bunch of leads with Listing Booster. And I think we taught you some Zillow, Facebook ad generation strategies, and you already implemented, you're getting leads. I mean, you're getting leads for what, $1 or $2 or something on some of those strategies?
I got super pissed because across my team, I think we spend about $6,000 on Zillow a month still, to this day, because the agents that we work with that are doing a ton of business, that's what they want. So we have to. But the agents that don't want to spend it, we've tried all these different things, with Listing Booster and Facebook lead forms and stuff. And it's I can literally get the exact same lead that I'm spending $70 on Zillow for. I'm targeting the same customer and I'm getting them opting into, my Facebook funnels for $2 maximum, and on a $20 a day spend or something like that. So
like
there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, but
I like what you told me you did though recently. Like you basically have the automation going straight to your LO, and like if your LO doesn't call, then you're like Angry Ian. You're like all over them. Like, dude,
they don't have a choice. So here's how our system is set up. We use Lion Desk, which you guys introduced us to. But basically, each of my loan officers has their own Lion Desk account. When a new lead comes in, whether it's a Zillow lead or a Facebook opt-in or whatever, new lead comes in, within 15 minutes, the loan officer's phone rings. They pick up the phone. If they press 1, it connects them to the customer. So there is no, whatever. It's the phone rings, it says lead line. They all saved it in their cell phone. So they know, like, there's money on the phone. I better grab it. And we found success, with online leads 2 ways. The first is speed to the lead. When you get that person that's like, I say within 15 minutes we contact them. Usually it's within like 1. When you get that person right away and it's fresh in their mind, if we can get them into our system, pre-qual them or whatever, a person that tells you I'm going to buy a house within a year, if they're pre-approved today, they're going to buy a house within 30 days, right? Like that's how it always goes. That's the very small bucket of what we pull, and the long term is just setting up those drip campaigns and having that consistent follow-up. And that's where, especially for me, like if it's in front of me and blinking, that's what I'm focusing on. The customer that opted in or that I talked to 2 months ago, I don't even know they exist. So that's where the automation has been huge for my team, because now we're starting to see the benefits of, some of the stuff that we implemented in December and in January. Those customers are just now coming around as buyers. So in December and January, we're like, all of this work that we're doing isn't really that exciting and it's not very fun or sexy. Now we're like, I'm glad I did that in December, because now this customer that I don't even remember talking to is calling me to get pre-approved. So you got to play both sides, and automation has been, I would say, the biggest proponent of that.
Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think can you help me make sure I understand? Like in December and January, you were using Listing Booster and some of the lead capture stuff to generate contacts, and then now you're continuing to follow up with them, and you're finding they're a little bit more interested 4, 5, 6 months down the road, just because you're consistently emailing them here and there and asking them if they want more information or if they're ready to take actions.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So one of the things, we've had so many guests in the program that will share stuff, and it's like all of my stuff was like HTML and beautiful pictures and stuff, and I can't remember who came on, but they were like, I don't use any HTML templates. Everything looks like it's just a typed out email. So I spent like hours switching all of our campaigns to that, and it was literally like as soon as I took the cannedness out of all of our marketing, things started to click a little bit faster. And it's been a long process of tweaking to find what works, but now what we're seeing is customers that have been enrolled in our drip campaign for a couple of months, they might not be calling us and saying, hey, I want to get pre-approved. But when they talk to the realtor that we know, or, when they actually go out shopping, they've heard our name so many times that when somebody says, oh, you should talk to so-and-so at Caliber, now they're thinking like, oh yeah, that person's emailed me 50 times. Like cool, that's a real person. I should get on that. So it's definitely twofold. You have to be out there in the market, but you also have to have that online presence to drive it. And like I said, it's all trial and error. What I always say to my loan officers is like, online marketing is fun because you start at the beginning and you're like, awesome, I found this ad copy that works great. It gets people to click the link. And then they click the link and nothing happens. So you're like, okay, I got to the first roadblock. How do I get past the first roadblock? And there's like 100 roadblocks to get, from A to Z, but like it's very quick and very easy to see what your next roadblock is. And then you can just address it and, tinker and find what works. So there is for us at least, there has been no perfect formula, but we've been able to accelerate through the steps a lot faster.
Well, I think, when you first talked to TJ and I, we said, hey man, we're going to help you build a brand that everyone recognizes. We're not going to guarantee you like that we've got this one click or this one script or this one simple thing that you do that's going to make you super rich. Like if you could do one simple thing and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, everybody would do it. Everybody, exactly. One click, you're going to make a bunch of money. Fantastic. But it's a culmination of, I'm going to build a brand. I'm going to have all this automation. I'm going to have these emails. All these agents are going to recognize me. I'm going to get some stuff from my email drips. I'm going to get some stuff from my branding. You guys are teaching classes to realtors too, which I know we've been talking a ton about, basically helping the realtors replicate some of the things you're doing on your team to build their own brand, to build their own CRM. And, what I say a lot is really like, we don't want the robots to take our jobs. We don't want them to win. We want to build our own brand online where people locally recognize us. But yeah, eventually we're going to sit down in the office and meet them. They're just not going to walk into our office like they might have in the past. It just doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, that's, so like if I break down my marketing budget, I probably spend in non-Zillow type online advertising, maybe, I don't know, like $1,000 a month or something across Google and Facebook and that kind of stuff. I probably spend $3,000 a month on like our lunch and learns and, like the catering bills and bar tabs type of stuff, because you're exactly right. It's online is a great way to get a foot in the door, and get that, keep your name in their head. But ultimately it's on us to close the sale. I could have the greatest marketing campaign ever. If I'm not accessible, nobody is going to work with me. So, that's where it's definitely important on my team, especially phone rings, we answer it. Like occasionally a realtor will call me and be like, I don't like working, with so-and-so, or I had this issue, because whenever I call, they text me back. And, okay, you can count on that never happening again, because that's, you have to have the human element. If it's just that robotic, thing, then I could go get a rocket mortgage, and that's not us.
Well, and I mean, I think you mentioned earlier in the call too, like the back end of your process is so solid and so smooth that as you build that reputation, it just, all the parts come together. You don't do all this marketing to drop, loans off the closing table 6 weeks late. I mean, you guys paid attention to the whole process from beginning to end.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, we built the back end first, so like, one of my loan officers that came over that I'd worked with previously, she brought a processor with her that was a total rock star, and that person adapted to our team very quickly and to our firm. So, that having the back end figured out is bar none the most important thing. Like you can, like you said, you can drive loans into the door all day long. If you're not closing them, then you have no value to anybody.
Cool, dude.
Well, no value to any realtor, at least.
Yeah, well, you might be able to fool people for 30 to 90 days, but that's
exactly. And that's, like we focus a ton of the bulk of our budget, of our marketing dollars is realtor facing. I do very little non-joint marketing that's consumer facing, because if I spend $8 on getting one lead, great, I got that one deal. If I spend $8 on getting a realtor, however many deals that realtor gets is how many I get. So that's, that's been the basis of, and that's where, like with the listing booster stuff and all the CRM integrations, we try as much to make everything a joint marketing piece with that agent, because it adds value to the agent and that keeps them coming to us. So when you work at a bank or something like that, you get the pre-approvals that walk in the door and you can hand them out to realtors, and that lasts for a little while until you blow up some deals. So you have to have something different, some different value to provide to an agent. And that's where the co-marketing and the just co-branding ourselves, I would say, really has been huge for us.
Yeah, and you've kind of embraced the concept that most companies and most loan officers just ask for business, but they don't actually offer the real estate agents help with finding business. I mean, they might say, hey, I got a special product, or I can do this one niche thing that nobody else can do. I can do escrow holdback and RD or whatever. But you're actually saying, hey, okay, Mr. Realtor, I took your listing. I helped you generate an additional 400 contacts. We're both emailing them together. We're following up. And out of those 400, we might get one or two that reach out to you in the next 6 months that want more information. But guess what? It's all automated. It's all done for you. So you really, all you got to do is if they reach out, then you and I both have to follow up with them once they're ready to talk to us.
That's entirely so like I always say, like, I feel like I made this up, but I'm sure somebody smarter than me said it, like the rule of 10, and that's like, if I'm marketing online, for every 10 people I talk to, maybe it's 100, I might get one, and if it's a face-to-face referral or a past client referral, I'm probably going to get all 10 of those. But if it's an online, capture, you need a way bigger net. You gotta be pulling way more. And that's the first thing, like we'll do 2 or 3, like actual sit down, I don't want to call them lunch and learns, but like coaching sessions with different agents. And that the biggest thing that we have to focus on with them is that just because you see a new lead come in, from Listing Booster, or from Facebook, or from any online source, it's not the same. It's not the same as a personal referral. You have to have a lot more of them. And, there are people that can convert a lot higher percentage of them, but nobody converts 100% or 70% or even 20% of their online leads. So you have to reset that expectation, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I did this online marketing thing and it was terrible. It didn't work. Well, if your expectation is that you're going to get, 100-to-1 return on it, then it's going to be terrible. But if your expectation is I'm going to pull a deal or two out of every, whatever, then you're doing it right.
Yeah. Like some agents will come to me and say, well, Fisher, we generated 300 contacts, but we don't have anything closing from this next month. I'm like, no, we don't. Yeah. But what did you do to generate those 300 contacts? Almost no work. You did a few simple steps that we talked about and everything was automated. And, oh, look, here's somebody just reached out yesterday. Go talk to them. So if that one thing turns into a deal and your total amount of time invested was 30 minutes, then that's a win. It doesn't matter that you had to create 300 contacts. All that matters is that the cost to you was almost nothing. And the time invested was 30 minutes and you got one buyer.
So one of the things that I love to do, most agents have their own, CRM, like they're not using the same CRM that we are, but they can track their referral sources. So I always love to say, like, pull up your mailing list. Like, who are the people that you send? We get a stack of them every month of, Century 21 and Coldwell Banker. We get all these like postcards. Pull up that list and tell me which one of those are loan officers. And they'll say, like, okay, here's my list. And, I mail 15 loan officers every month or whatever it is. Okay, show me which deals you got from those 15 loan officers. And usually there'd be like one or two that they have a bunch of business with, and then like, 10 or 12 that they did nothing with. Okay, so if you take that 10 or 12 times 12 months times 50 cents a piece or whatever to mail it, that's how much money you wasted. Compare that to the email, the online campaign that we're doing. You spent zero on this and got 1, 2, whatever referrals or customers. You spent $80 on this and got zero tracked. So it's just, like I said, resetting that expectation of what is the way to do business. And all of the coaches say, the same thing, like dialing for dollars is not how you do it. Cold calling is not how you do it. And this is just, one of the many ways I think that the industry is going.
Awesome, man. Well, I think I asked you for a 3-minute endorsement and then we talked for a good 25 minutes, but
chop that shit up. This is the longest I've gone without swearing too, I think. So that's
I know. I told you to clean it up. I'm like, man, that guy's got a foul mouth. No, anything else you got to add for people that are kind of watching this on the replay? Or
no, I think
would you pay Fisher and TJ to help you?
No, I haven't. And I would.
I mean,
so
yeah,
you have to dedicate the time, and that's what I said, when I was going through it. It's if you're going to pay the bill, pay you guys and then expect the business to come, you are better served to go set money on fire. You have to do the work. You have to read the lessons. You have to watch participate in the calls, and if you're going to do that, I would say it's impossible not to get to the next level. And that might be from only level 1 to level 2, but it takes you a step forward. And, the bulk of any coaching program success is within the individual. And I think that you guys definitely point in the right direction and at least opened my team's eyes to all of the different things that we could and should be doing.
Nice. I once heard, because I really enjoy golf, but I heard from, I can't remember the instructor, maybe Butch Harmon, maybe Jim Flick, I don't remember. But somebody once asked him, how much is it for golf lessons? And he was like, oh, my golf lesson package is $500 for 7 lessons or whatever. And they'd say, well, how much for just one lesson? He said, well, one lesson, that's $2,500. They'd say, what? And he'd be like, well, if you expect me to teach you everything you need to know in one lesson.
Yeah, it's going to be a long lesson.
It's going to be a long lesson. Exactly. And I'm really going to have to pull something special out. It's going to take me a little bit of extra thinking power to make that happen. So, you're a perfect example of that. You've been hustling, you've been taking action over the course of a few months, and you've been teaching us in return. The student becomes a teacher because we've been watching how you implement it. Oh, wow, Ian's using the Google Docs this way. He's been moving his data, from Listing Booster over to this CRM back to his follow-up system. It's like this web. But once you understood how the pieces work together, it was like, Tinker Toys. You're just like, oh, I got it. So
like the first bit of automation that I did was automating inbound Zillow leads to get an email drip campaign. And I paid somebody on, I don't know, one of those like hire a Malaysian guy to computer program stuff. I paid somebody $50 to set up this Zap and Zapier because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Now, I set that same Zap up like 50 times a week. It's like once I saw how that was done, it was a lot easier. And so I've been trying to like share a lot of that with you guys. And, a lot of times if somebody's in the course and they're like, I'm struggling with Zapier, I'm like, if you're comfortable, shoot me your passwords and stuff. I'll log in and help you, and show you how to do it. And they're like, thank you so much. It's like, you guys were that for me. So it's the least I can do for the next group down the road.
Well, I remember talking to Kevin at Listing Booster about that a couple of years ago. And I was like, Kevin, maybe you guys should try to figure out Zapier. Maybe we should get that going. He's like, oh, that's going to be like one LO in America. No one's going to care about that. And, and I'm like, it's coming, dude. The robots are coming. These little techie millennial loan officers are coming, and everyone's going to want to automate this stuff. So it's cool, dude. I like watching you. So, all right, that's all I got, dude. I tried to let you steal the show, but I interjected about 67 times. So I appreciate your time. I'll share this with some of the folks who might want to learn to be more like Ian. I think there's only one, though. So
yeah, let's hope. My wife says that too.
I know. So the only other favor I got to ask from you is I probably will be at Traverse City at some point in the summer, and I want to find a watercraft of some sort that goes really fast. So.
I'm your guy.
All right.